Hello, I'm Lucy Porter, comedian, actor,
Writer, philanthropist,
lover, fighter, philanthropist, very much so. And welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
There you go. That's I ran out of things to be. I could have said anything. I could have been like archaeologist.
They'll never know the difference. They won't know. You could say it.
No, touch typist. I can do that. I can do about 80 words a minute. So
It's pretty good.
yeah, no, I'm pretty impressed.
Now, do you type with like all your fingers or just use one?
No, I can do right. I can close my eyes and it's absolute gibberish. But I try because my daughter was really impressed. She was like, "Mum, there's a boy at school in year 5 and he can like type with his eyes closed." And I went, "Yes, so can I." And I used to be amazing, and I used to be like a super secretary. And it turns out 20 years of doing comedy, all those skills washed away, lost. It's not like riding a bike, it turns out, because when I'm sitting writing material as Tez Ilias, I don't know if you know Tez.
Yeah, he knows a lot about colons and cologne.
I believe he does. But when you're writing comedy material, he was talking about this on his marvellous interview with you.
That's so great.
You know, you go, and you're trying to write something, so the words don't come out that quickly. So I'm used to, like, now I type like, I can't think of. So all of that's gone. Anyway.
Because you studied English literature, if memory serves, from earlier on today.
I did, and have never used it since.
But you did, because you did some journalism.
Well, yeah.
You speak the language, Lucy.
Well, I do. Well, it was all reading books, and I mean, I have technically read a book since, so the critical faculties that I developed during my degree, I suppose, have come in handy. But yeah, I was all set for a lovely, sensible career because I wanted to be K80, so that was my thing. I'm going to be a journalist. I'm going to go to Manchester. I'm going to get a job for Granada TV. I'm going to work on World in Action. I'm going to go to the front line. I'm going to be an investigative journalist / war correspondent. That is my life. And then I did the first few bits, and I got a job at Granada Television, and I said I want to work in World in Action, and they said no, there's no jobs on World in Action. Do you fancy Richard and Judy?
Who doesn't fancy them?
I mean, I did both, and so went Judy. Judy Moore, and I went to work for them, and then it led me down a very different light entertainment path. And I thought, actually, war's all well and good, but what people really need is a tiny comedian. So that's what I ended up doing.
It's very true.
Genres and leads not like going.
Do you know, Tez Ilias has made a very good point there, that actually some comedy gigs have been more gruesome. Well, in fact, the last time I was at this gig, the wonderful Horndean Technical College, 6 years ago, and I will never forget that gig because it was awful. Nothing to do with the gig, nothing to do with the audience. I don't remember anything about the actual gig, but I got norovirus on the train on the way down. Everyone in my family had been ill, and I was like, I'm fine, I don't have anything, I feel great. And then I was on the train on the way down, and I'd never had norovirus before, and I just thought, it's like a little sickness bug, how bad can it be? And I arrived here, and lovely James, who I will love till my dying day, because like I got here and I just was there's a ladies' lavatory opposite that I can't go into because it's my Vietnam. I was in there all night. I did that thing, I'm going to do the show anyway. And I managed to be on stage for about 15 minutes without throwing up. And, oh my God. And I don't remember anything about being on stage at all. But I think it was Dr. Showbiz worked his magic, and I kind of got through it and it was fine. But then I had to get the train back from Portsmouth to London. And it was one of the longest nights of my entire life in a train toilet. And I cannot...
Anyway. The toilet here's only just reopened. It was closed for 5 or 6. It was sealed off. There was people in hazmat suits.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a blue plaque on the wall at some point where
Once they clean it.
This was where Lucy Porter.
It's in here somewhere.
Ruined a toilet.
A star in there.
Yeah, I think I deserve some sort. I tell you what, if you'd been there, and I don't wish to put anyone off their food, but if you'd been there, it was quite the night.
In fact, you know, like where you had your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, preserved in concrete, the imprint of my hands in the Sick. Anyway, didn't mean to say that, but yes, so sometimes gigs can be awful for many, many reasons.
Because your first gig ever, I think, was in Chester.
It was. Very good research, yeah.
Thank you so much. Before I was there at the beginning, I've been every gig since.
See, I thought you looked familiar. I thought you were the one holding my hair back in that toilet when I was,
With the wellies on.
So no, I went to Chester because I lived in Manchester and I really didn't want any of my friends to see me do comedy for the first time. So I thought, how far can I go that people wouldn't be there? So I went down to Chester, got the train to Chester and did a gig it was a night called the Comedy Police. So there were two guys dressed up as policemen, and if the audience didn't like you, then they went woo woo woo, and the Comedy Police came on and beat you off the stage with their rubber truncheons, and which was a lot of fun, but I didn't want to see any of my friends see that happen. But anyway, it didn't. Luckily I had a good time, except I missed my train back to Manchester, which was slightly. That noise was a door. That was James opening a door, rather than
naked.
It wasn't my colon. Just to call back to Tez Elias's. Anyway, anyone who's seen Tez's will understand that. But
I love it.
yes, so I missed the train back to Manchester. Had to walk around Chester all night, but I didn't mind because I was elated having done my first gig, and I thought this is what I want to do forever. And it turns out that's what I've done forever.
That's amazing. Now I've got a question for you, Lucy Porter. You went on Room 101 and elected to put child actors into it. So my question is, how would Home Alone work with a 30-year-old?
I think if I was in Home Alone, it would be a lot better. It would just be a movie about the fact that my family had gone off on holiday without me, and it would just be me jumping around the house delighted for an hour and a half and making friends with the burglars.
Oh, there's a question from the audience. Tez.
Point of information, Macaulay Culkin put himself in Room 101. Thanks.
Oh, very interesting.
But you see, I do. The thing about child actors is it's not. It sounds mean, but also it's for their own protection as well. Because I think it ruins you. Like, I think becoming successful when you're 12 is like a disaster for every aspect of your life. Whereas what I'm aiming to do is become successful when I'm about 53. I've got a few years left, and I think that when I make my first million and win my Oscar at 53, I'll be grounded. I'll be sensible. It won't ruin my life. So that's been the long-term goal. I'm just keeping my powder dry.
So you've got another 30 years now to sort of ease yourself into that.
Good work, Len.
I know, right?
I like you.
I know.
Come again. That's very
Thanks.
good. Yeah.
I have to. It's my show.
Yeah, that's true.
I have no choice. I'm contractually obliged to do it.
I will let you continue, though. I'll talk to my friends at YouTube and say, carry on. Yeah.
Thank you, all of them.
Yeah.
Everyone on YouTube.
I know the owner. Do you? BertTube.
Oh, amazing.
BertTube. Lovely fella. We were at school together.
You don't know Sue you?
And Sue you as well, yeah. Sue. I mean, you can't get better than Sue, can you? I think Sue likes the cat videos, and Bert is all about Minecraft and Fortnite. So between them, they cover the whole.
That's all of YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it.
You are a bit of an expert in all things related to Steve Martin.
Well, I was.
Except The Simpsons.
Yes, good work. Again, I did do... Oh, there's my colon again. I did do... my specialist subject on Mastermind was indeed the life and work of Steve Martin. So for about 4 days, I knew everything about Steve Martin, and it's now sort of started to fade away a bit, but I love him. If I did Mastermind again, I would do Bill Murray, I think, would be my specialist subject, or maybe Victoria Wood. Tez Elias, what would you...
Audience?
I got asked to go on Mastermind this year, and I picked Lionel Messi.
Oh.
And then I got bumped because there were too many people doing sports stuff.
Yeah. Well, do you know, they wouldn't let me do... I wanted to do British confectionery of the 80s and 90s. And they said they said it was too niche. So I think they are quite fussy. What would you do?
I don't know. I think I'm still carrying...
Do me. Like, by the amount of research you've done, I would say I could be your specialist subject on Mastermind, and I would love it.
You pretty much are, and I think we should. This is a very good idea.
Yeah. Well, in fact, what about contemporary comedy? Because I saw you interview Tez, and you knew loads about him. Yeah. So, yeah, that would be great. Comedians of the contemporary era.
It's a good idea. I'm like a walking sort of Wikipedia kind of thing. I have to absorb all this information about all these people.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I mean, it's quite broad though. Like when I was on, Mark Watson did the World Cup since 1973 or something, which is like a massive subject. So, and then I always prefer the people who do like one series of Sex and the City. Someone did Sex and the City series 3, and you're like, well, that's not even the best series. Like,
Can you be more precise? Can you go a 10-second period of a certain film?
yeah, exactly. The opening credits of movies. You could do that. Opening tunes of movies.
I could do that. I would probably do something film related, I think.
Would you? Yeah.
Perhaps comedy.
Yeah, no, I think I would always go for something that's fun to research, because that's what I found was doing the Steve Martin one. I just sat and watched all his movies for 3 days and it was bliss. So I wouldn't have minded if I didn't win. Whereas I think if you'd done something like, stationary brands of the 1950s, well, actually, that sounds great.
It does sound really good.
You know what that sounds? I'd scratch that. If you'd done like the life and works of Piers Morgan, for example, and you'd had to sit and watch everything Piers Morgan's ever done,
Imagine.
that would be worse than throwing up in the toilets at the Horndean Technical College.
I've only ever had one engagement with Piers Morgan. That was on Twitter, and it was before he was going to interview Trump. And I asked, I did this massive list of stuff, and I was like, have you asked him all this stuff? And he said, I've asked some of those, but you can ask him the rest when you interview him. I thought, I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, that's quite a nice response of Piers Morgan, though, actually.
It was quite friendly.
Interview Alec Baldwin.
Same person, can't tell the difference. Now, tell me about your new show. Of course, I went to Edinburgh Fringe this year, but you're touring next year with it.
I shall be back in the Hampshire area on more than one occasion. I think I'm doing am I doing Havant, or am I doing, I don't know. Anyway, I always do Hampshire a lot because it seems to be my natural constituency. But I'm all over the place. So it's called Pass It On, and it's kind of about, it's ostensibly it's about your legacy and what your parents hand down to you and what you hand down to your kids and what we all hand down between generations. But it's turned out, as these things do, being slightly sort of highfalutin. But then a lot of it is now about George Michael, and there's quite a bit about raffles. There's a very sort of long section about Marks and Spencers. So there's something for everyone.
That's ideal.
Or me, really. There's something for me, and then hopefully other people will enjoy it. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to going on tour with that. And I've got a Radio 4 special beginning of the year, 2019 year, which I'm doing sort of based loosely on bits of that as well.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to hearing and seeing all of this stuff.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you on Mastermind very soon.
Absolutely. No pressure at all for me there.
You'll be fine.
So finally, have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell show today or tomorrow?
Yes. Leave the Sarah O'Connell show on autoplay, and then she gets loads of views. And and watch them all, obviously.
Yeah.
But continue to just let it play.
It's very good advice. Now, Lucy Porter, thank you for coming on the Sarah O'Connell show.
Such a pleasure. I'm going to go out and do this gig for the first time not feeling nauseous.
You should. You're on in about 11 seconds. And everyone at home, be sure to share, subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up. I'll see you all again soon for another episode of the Sarah O'Connell show. Bye.